Hey there, this is Michele Yamazaki from Toolfarm, and today I'm going to walk you through a fun little holiday-themed project using Zaxwerks ProAnimator for After Effects and Imagineer Mocha. Where I live in Michigan, we had an early November pounding of lake effect snow, so I decided to shoot a bit of footage with my iPhone and have a little fun with it. I'll be placing icy-looking 3D text in this snowy scene, and I'll show you how to quickly track the Santa hat in the shot with Mocha, create the text in ProAnimator, and then animate the text. And we'll also take a quick look at ambient occlusion in ProAnimator 8. In After Effects, I've set up a comp with the Santa clip. The text will be generated on a solid layer with ProAnimator, so I want to create that solid. I'll go to Layer, New, Solid, and I'll call it Text and make sure that it's comp sized. I'll find Zaxwerks ProAnimator in my Effects and Presets panel and drag it to my solid layer. In the dialog box that pops up, I'm going to click the top button that says Create 3D Text. That causes another dialog box to pop up where I enter that 3D text. I'm going to type the word Believe. The font that I'm using is called Oliver, and it's available for free at dafont.com. Now notice how the font is shown right now in previews, which is really convenient, but if you'd rather see the names, for example, if you're using a symbol font, you can uncheck Show Font Previews. I'm going to set my font back to Oliver and click OK. This will take me back to After Effects where the text has the default look to it. To modify that look, I'm going to the Effect controls for ProAnimator and click that large image at the top that says Click to Edit ProAnimator. This will bring me to the ProAnimator user interface, and looking at it, it can be a bit overwhelming at first, but it's all broken down into sections, so it's really not that tough. The first thing I want to do in ProAnimator is set up the look of the icy text. So at the bottom, I'm going to click the Workspace button for Materials. Now there are a lot of great material swatches and object style swatches that are already set up, and I'm going to take advantage of these presets. Under the Object Style Swatches tab, I'm going to scroll down until I find Frosted Ice. To apply, I just need to drag that to the text in my 3D preview panel. Now this looks pretty nice, but I've been through them all and I know that there's another one called Dirty Ice that I like better for this text. I'll click OK to close ProAnimator, and I can see how it looks then over the background. Just ignore the position, we're going to worry about that later, but it's really starting to take shape. So let's go back into ProAnimator. I want to add a bit of animation to the text. I'll click the Workspace button for animation. To make this really easy, again, I'm going to use a preset. Under the Object Animation pull-down menu, there are a load of presets, and they're kind of fun to check out. But I've been through these, and I'm going to choose one under Graceful called Fountain. Here's a preview of what it looks like when it animates. Now, granted, this is a bit tough to see over the white, so I can change the color of the preview background by clicking the color box in the 3D preview panel and just change the color to something darker. That's a bit easier on the eyes. Alternately, I can bring in the Santa hat background, which is probably a good idea at this point because I do need to position the text as I animate it. I'm going to close ProAnimator for a quick second and show you something in the After Effects Effect Controls panel. There is a checkbox that needs to be checked that says Load Editor Background, and the background also needs to be chosen in the pull-down menu for Editor Background, so I'm going to choose Santa Hat Movie. And then I can go back into ProAnimator and you'll see the background is there. This preset that I used animates out, and I want the text to remain on screen. I can shift-click the portions of the animation that I don't want and tap the delete key to remove them from my animation. Next, I want to position the text. With hold selected in my object track, the animation controls are available. I'll check the XYZ in the position box to move the text. I can move it increment by increment, or I can drag along, and it's a little bit easier to do it that way. And get it to roughly where I want it to be. It's a little bit small here. I could adjust the text size. I can adjust the Z position. I want to be careful about doing that though, because I have the hat tracked, so I want to make sure that it looks like it's on the same plane and I don't get any weird parallax effects. So I want to scale that up, and if I just want to scale an individual X, Y, or Z axis, I can just drag in each box. However, I want to scale it all, so I'm going to click in this box here and just drag it up until I get my rough position. That's about right. And now I want to rotate it. So again, I've got the local, which will rotate character by character. And I've got the global, where I can rotate the whole thing. So I'm going to rotate the whole thing here and maybe nudge the position just a little bit. That's probably about right. So let me preview this and see how it looks. That's pretty nice. I like it. Next, I'd like to add shadow below the text to make it look more natural. The lighting in the shot is very even. There's no direct sunlight, so I'll use a combination of shadow catcher in ProAnimator and ambient occlusion to achieve that look. By itself, the look of ambient occlusion is very close to the look of how lighting would appear on an overcast day, so it works out very well for this. I'm going to go to the Materials tab and going to hold down the Control key as I click on the 3D Primitive button and choose Ground. And you don't really see much of a ground here. I will be changing the materials in just a minute. I would like to place this first. So I'm going to go under the Animation tab, and you can't really see anything here because it's straight on, but I can lower the position just by clicking this Move XYZ box and then moving it down. And look at that, all of a sudden you can totally see the position. So I'm going to move that down quite a bit. Now looking at this, I just really think I want the text to be quite a bit larger. So I'm going to select the hold area and then change my global scale here. And notice that it's not cutting through my object evenly. That's because it's on a bit of a slant here. The ground isn't quite even and my text isn't either, which is perfect. So I'm going to just rotate the Z rotation just a little bit under global and position this down just a little bit. And I want this to look like it's floating, so I want it positioned right underneath it. And some of the letters have little curved humps on the bottom, which makes it look like it's cut off. So I do want to be careful of that. And that looks like it's under all the way. Now I want to create the look of the shadow. So I'm going to go back under the materials and I'm going to go back to this one and just make sure shadow catcher is set and drag that into my materials dock for that object. You can see that it changes some of the letters light, some of them dark, and this is not an accurate representation of what it will look like, trust me. So we're going to call this good for now, and I'm going to click OK so we can see what it looks like in After Effects. Now if you're not seeing any shadow, make sure that ambient occlusion is turned on. If I toggle it on and off, zoomed in to full resolution at 100%, you can see what a difference it makes. Ambient occlusion is a shading and rendering method used to add realism to lighting. Ambient occlusion creates soft shadows by darkening the more hidden areas of an object. The shadows are a bit dark here, so I can turn down the ambient darkness, say to about a little over 40, and you can see the difference here. I'm going to bring my clip into Mocha Pro. Now you could also use Mocha AE for this. I'm going to go to File, New Project, then choose my clip, which is called Santa Hat. Click Open, then click OK. I'm going to preview the clip a few times in Mocha so that I know what I'm up against. Now I've gone through this project a few times and I know that I can't really track to the snow, although that would be ideal. There's just not enough contrast in the snow. So that's why I'm tracking the hat instead. I'm going to use the X-Spline tool to mark the area that I want to have tracked. Once I'm finished, I'll track forward. I'm going to show you this in hyperspeed so you don't get bored. After, we'll watch it through and make sure it looks good. Okay, that looks good. I'll click Export Tracking Data. This brings up a dialog box asking me what format I want, and I need the default After Effects Transform Data. I'll click copy to clipboard, then head back over to After Effects. I'm going to paste this data onto a null object in After Effects. So to create a null object, I'll go to Layer, New, Null Object. I want to make sure that I'm at the first frame of the null object and the first frame of my composition, and then paste the tracking data to the null. Tapping the U key brings up all of the keyframes I just pasted. The last thing I need to do is parent the text layer to the null. Here is the final result. You can download free demos of both Zaxwerks ProAnimator and Imagineer Mocha Pro at toolfarm.com. Have a happy holiday and thanks for watching.